Hey guys, tomorrow I'm going to show you an entire day of what I eat, every single calorie that I eat, how much water I drink, everything I do to fuel for my workouts, I'm going to show you guys. And so that starts the night before for me. Tomorrow, every single morning, I have overnight oats. That's how I start the day on a training day. And so I'm going to show you guys how I make it, and then I will see you in the morning.
Carson from Mason, Ohio. He'll win in the 400 IM.
All right, we're good to go. First main ingredient is my oats. We always do the Bob's Red Mill. I'll do a full cup of oats, so 2 scoops for me. I'll put in all of the calories and stuff, and so we can track and keep track of everything and the macros as the day goes on. I like oats a little bit thicker. Also, I forgot, I put chia seeds in it. And these also kind of dry up the milk. It is a superfood, so I'll do like a little handful of those. And then I'll do some frozen berries. I'll throw those in there. It's blackberries, strawberries, blueberries. And then on top of that, then we have some honey. I'll do a good amount of honey. So yeah, my breakfast is a lot of carbs, but I'll do it the night before, and then I'll stick it in the fridge, and then in the morning I just come downstairs and eat it. So I will see you guys in the morning. See you in the morning. All right, actually, I'm going to show you guys also the ice machine. We moved in a few weeks ago, and I've yet to get around the chore of figuring out how to get our ice machine to work. So we don't have ice yet. So we haven't been able to do like iced coffee. And so Meredith and I have been making our espresso shots at night and then just putting them in the fridge. I have a healthy addiction to coffee. I am definitely kind of a coffee fiend. Ever since I moved down to Austin, Austin has such amazing coffee. And so I am definitely a bit addicted to it. All right, so I have our 2 coffees, just a little bit of honey in both of them, a little bit of honey, and then a little bit of cinnamon. And then mix it up. Throw these caps in. Let them chill in the fridge overnight, and then we will add milk in the morning, and we'll have our cold coffee with no ice. See you guys in the morning.
One eternity later.
Good morning. It is like 6:25. It's time for breakfast. Like I said, I just got out of bed, got ready to go. And my breakfast is already ready because of making it last night. It looks great. Got my coffee also ready to go. And then the last thing, a part of my breakfast routine, is the creatine gummies. I do not have a partnership with them. This is just something that I like to take. I love taking creatine. Oh, and I'm finished. But I hate like powder, like needing to put a powder in a drink, because I would just forget to do it or I wouldn't finish the drink. And so I've realized that I am way more consistent with my creatine if they are in little gummy form. One of the great things that I take. This is what it looks like now after a night of sitting in the fridge. Looks good, ready to eat. Done. I'm gonna drink coffee, go for a little walk with Meredith and Gus, and then be on the way to practice. All right, coffee finished. 6:57. Gonna leave for the pool in 3 minutes. Off to first practice of the day. All right, so this is a new part of my morning routine, but I just recently started taking Go One More Sport. BPN is Austin-based, another NSF certified, so I feel safe taking it. But all this is I do a scoop of it in probably about 12 ounces of water as I drive over to practice. These are what I eat during practice. I actually found these when Meredith was marathon training. This is just like straight sugar in gel form. But for me, I kind of struggle to drink water during practice. 1, just my stomach doesn't seem to want it. And then 2, there's just not that much time. So I've started doing these, and they're super easy. It takes like 5 seconds for me to eat them. So love that. All right, so I'll walk you through the day of what I'm doing for workouts. So we have practice this morning. It'll be a long course. It'll be our main workout of the day. So today will be, I'm assuming, probably 7K. And then after that, we'll go straight to lift. Thursday lift is probably my easiest lift, but we still will do that. I'll fuel in between swimming and lift, show you guys what I eat after practice in between lift, and then again after lift, and then I'll come home, have a little short break today. So I'll eat lunch and try and get upstairs to nap as fast as I can. See if I can get like an hour nap in before we have afternoon practice. And afternoon practice, the pattern continues of what it's been. Afternoon will probably be some power. So some racks, some parachutes, some sprinty stuff. And so we have a full day of training ahead. Leaving weights practice, and weights are done. I had a chocolate milk after practice. Forgot to film that. But now I have an Evolve little plant-based protein shake that I'm gonna get down since we just lifted. Probably should have some carbs, but I'll grab those when I get home. All right, see you guys when I get home. It is like 10:15. I'm not hungry at all. I feel like I probably should eat something just to get me through until lunch. Yeah, 10:15. I have kind of no man's land for eating, so I'll probably wait like 45 minutes before I have lunch, and then I'll take a nap. A little poppy soda. Meredith loves these things. I'll have like one a day. It satisfies your sweet tooth a little bit. 30 calories, just like a little healthy soda. All right, talk for lunch, 11:30. My lunch is the same pretty much every single day. I'll do rice and then some sort of meat. Normally it's ground beef. We have some leftover chicken and steak from the other night, so I'm just gonna do that today and save the ground beef for dinner. But I'll do, on a double day, I'll do a little bit more than 1 cup of rice, which is a lot of rice. Slightly more. A single day, it's a little less, but for the most part, my lunch stays the same because it's pretty much directly following training. And so a big part of it is just refueling. Another Gus tax. Gus, sit. Gentle. Gentle. Oh, very good.
I'll tell Casey.
Good boy. So we got our leftover, some steak and some chicken. We also had Torchy's Tacos leftover street corn. And so I threw that in there. And then some peppers and onions that were with the steak and chicken all in the bowl. So we're going to warm that up and we're wait for the rice to finish. And that way, everything will be ready. All right, rice is finished cooking. Got some cheese on top. Mix it all up. I also got my sparkling water. Okay, so we got our food, our lunch, big bowl of meat and rice, and our sparkling water. Time to eat. All right, while I eat this, I'm going to explain a couple things. First, you probably realize by this point, my main focus as I go through a training day with my eating is making sure that I'm getting enough carbs in, just by like the nature of the sport and how much we train, especially in my event profile, how much I'm training. It requires a lot of fuel, and the fuel mainly comes from, the carbs that we're getting. And so it's definitely my focus. What I've actually learned, two things, is getting super low in body fat can for some people be a negative. I've learned I have kind of like a ballpark window. My lowest I've ever been in a body fat is actually one of the worst seasons of swimming that I've ever had. And I know it's not directly correlated. There are probably other things going on, but at the same time, I found that I swim my best when I'm consistent in a window. And so that doesn't always mean getting as lean as possible. And then two, back in the fall, we had a nutrition meeting. We get to, as pros, we get to sit in on the college team's nutrition meetings, which is a very awesome perk of being a pro at Texas. They were explaining, okay, how many carbs do we need to eat on a training day to stay fueled and to make sure that we're getting recovery in, that we're making gains, that we have the energy to get through an entire practice. And they kind of walked us through on a moderate training day, it's roughly 6 or 5 to 7 times your body weight in kilos in carbs. And then a like big day is 7 to 9. And then like a season or a block of training where we're just going crazy every single day, like Christmas training or like OTC, where our volume is getting up to, 70K a week, or some days hitting 16,000 a day. That's when you can even go 10 to 12 times your body weight in carbs per kilograms is an unreal amount of carbs. So it's so hard to do that. But even like on a strong training day where I try and stick in the 7 to 9 times my body weight. And so I weigh 185 pounds. That's like roughly 84 kilos. And so I try and stick between 650 and 800 grams of carbs a day, especially on double days. Singles, it might be a little less, but I'm almost always in like the 600 to 750 range. That's kind of where I stay. And I've noticed such a big difference in my training. I've been able to stack days rather than having, I used to be really, really good on the front end of the week and then kind of fade Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Ever since I've kind of upped my carbs and like, when you do that, you kind of up your overall calories. I've been training so much better throughout the entire week, which is awesome. And then the other thing that's so interesting is that when I started doing that, I have been someone who's tracked my sleep and my sleep metrics, whether it's by Whoop or Oura Ring. I just love that stuff. And when I started eating more, my sleeping stats got better. And so my whole body was recovering better because I was no longer under fueling and I was fueling correctly. And so I have been, very dialed in on not exactly what I eat. I try and eat as healthy as I can, but the biggest thing is mainly getting enough food and carbs specifically. Last bite. Let's go. All right, it is 2:44. We're going to leave here in about 10 minutes, but going to eat a snack really quick. My pre-practice snack is pretty much always a bagel. And so I'll get that going. Quick and easy, very simple. And then I am also going to grab my coffee before afternoon practice, and then I'll be on my way. We're going to do another shoot of G1M Sport before afternoon practice. I do sometimes struggle with cramps, mainly like in my legs. And so this has helped me. Yeah, this has been something that I've added in since we've been in heavy training and it's so hot out, so humid, very easy for me to cramp. So yeah, but I've really enjoyed it so far and it tastes pretty good. Also, so let me clarify, I am not partnered with any supplement or food companies. So everything that I do in this video or eat or take are things that I've figured out through trial and error or just by chance that I really like and that work for me on a day-to-day basis. And so I also know I'm not a nutritionist. So nothing in this video should be taken for certain. Everyone has their unique needs for food and supplements, and everyone needs to do what makes sense for them. But everything in this video is things that I've learned works for me, and I'm not recommending that someone follow this exactly. This is just an outside view of what an example is for an Olympic swimmer and what we eat on a day-to-day basis. All right, cinnamon raisin bagel. I'm a big cinnamon raisin guy, but I do love bagels, so I will eat any. All right, I'm about to leave, but I'm making another coffee. I'm not going to do another latte, just a little espresso shot before I go to practice. But one of my favorite parts of the day, like I said earlier, I just love the routine of coffee. Gus smells the bagel. That's like Gus's favorite food. He's following me around because he can smell the bagel on the counter. You want some? All right, 1 second. Gus text. Oh my goodness, it is hot. It is so hot. It is, it's like 96, but then the humidity is super duper hot today in Austin. I do not think we will be outside today.
All right, afternoon practice done. 3 of 3 practices, workouts completed. A little recap of today, the workouts. This morning was exactly kind of what I kind of predicted. It was freestyle IM. We do this thing called FRIM, where you just replace the butterfly with freestyle, which allows you to control your heart rate a little bit more. But it was a low threshold free IM workout around 6K, so a little shorter than I thought it was going to be, which was a nice surprise. And then we had lift after that. And then tonight was a power workout. Typically it's short course, but the pool was long course, so it was a little bit different. No towers, but different forms of power. Took roughly an hour and 40 minutes. So roughly 3 hours in water and around 45 minutes in the weight room today. So 3 hours, 45 minutes, and the day is done. I'm gonna go home now and make dinner. Chocolate milk. This is normally my drink of choice after workout. We have them stocked in the fridge. The Organic Valley low-fat chocolate milk. 150 calories, 22 carbs, 8 grams of protein. Ever since I was in high school, I've always done chocolate milk after practice. My parents used to pack it in a lunchbox for me. It's proven to be such a great recovery drink for right following a workout, with the carbs, protein, and sugar ratio. And it's also kind of like a little reward at the end of the day. And so chocolate milk does the job. All right, we're home. It is time to make dinner. I'm gonna make some steaks. Meredith's gonna do some sweet potato fries. I'm also gonna do asparagus. I'll show you guys my setup with the smoker and the Blackstone. It's become one of my favorite hobbies to come home from practice and to make dinner. So show you guys kind of the process behind it. But steaks, asparagus, sweet potato fries. All right, steaks going on to the smoker. All right, steaks are on. So I'll come out and check on it again in like 30 minutes. But in the meantime, we'll start prepping everything else. Dinner time for Gus. Gus is not picky at all. This is his dinner every single night. And look how happy he is. Sit. All right, so plus 500 calories for Gus. So dinner's definitely my favorite meal to cook because we definitely have the most freedom of what we're gonna make just because we have so much time, so much more time than like lunch. And also can eat something that's a little bit heavier if I don't have practice afterwards. Dinner is by far my favorite meal of the day. Also trying to hydrate. Food day. Big water. Try and drink this while I cook. Stay hydrated. Go Bengals. Super Bowl champs 2027 this year. All right, gonna let these rest for a little bit, and then I'll be right back out to put them on the Blackstone. All right, we're waiting for our sweet potato fries from Sous Chef 1 and Sous Chef 2. They're not quite done yet. Sweet potato fries. Are you helping? Is he helping?
He's helping. Someone.
This is our friend Eric. He's with us for dinner. So
Hey.
Not all the steak is for us. All right, it's like 9 o'clock. We are getting ready to head up to bed. I'm gonna make my oats for tomorrow and drink one of these. This is normally my nighttime snack if I'm still hungry. Meredith's getting our coffee ready for tomorrow to restart the day. Yeah, I'll put up the total number of calories that I ate today and maybe the macros too. I do not track my calories or count my calories on a daily basis, so this is just where it landed. But this is a very typical day of eating for me on a training day. One last thing I want to show you guys before I go to bed, because I wanted to show you guys everything. So I take 2 supplements at bed. I take Thorne Super EPAs, and I take
which is just fish oil, and then I take clean magnesium. Both things. So I pretty much all my supplements. Well, I only take those two. But anything beyond that's from Thorne or Clean has to have NSF. They're the two things that I've noticed that will make a difference on my recovery metrics. And so that's why they've stayed for a night-to-night basis. But that's it. That's all. That's everything I take in a day, everything I eat in a day. Thank you guys for following along, and I will see you guys next week.